Hi, welcome to The Insiders with Media Circus. My name is Sebastian Tuardas, and we're here with Santiago Rizzo and Greg Kasyan. Greg is the star of a fantastic film called Quest, and we're coming to you actually from the Slamdance Film Festival in Park City. I have to tell you, why I want to make movies is because of this movie that you guys have just made. Literally, absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely true. Can you tell us first what is the movie about, and then we'll kind of dig into both of you and your histories and how you made it.
Quest is a movie in honor of my teacher, Tim Mollering, who essentially adopted me when I was 13 years old. Technically, I got emancipated when I was 16, I was out on the street doing a lot of graffiti. I was in a lot of pain. I had an abusive stepfather who was physically abusive, really from a pretty young age, and graffiti was my outlet. So it's about a child stuck in his pain, unable to trust. It's about trusting your struggle. It's about trusting in the pain. And Greg plays me, or a younger version of me called Mills. And then my teacher is Tim Mollering. He died of pancreatic cancer in 2011. And that's played by Mihok, who's in Ray Donovan. He's Bunchy in Ray Donovan. And then Lou Diamond Phillips plays an abusive stepfather. He plays a monster. It's a really good role for him, something you haven't seen before from Lou. And Betsy Brandt, she was on Breaking Bad. She's Marie. She plays the mother. And Lakeith Stanfield is plays Mill's best friend and older kind of mentor. Clearly, Diego, his character, being black and from a very different background, shares a very different struggle. But ultimately, struggle is struggle, pain is pain, and love is love. And the movie is about love. It's about compassion. It's about giving back.
Greg, is this your first starring role?
Oh yeah, this was actually my first lead in a feature, which was a really cool experience for me. Yeah, I feel really lucky.
And what was it like for you and Santi, since you're playing him at a younger age, and this is such a difficult story? What was it like when you two? Well, first, how did the casting happen, and then what were the conversations like about what his experience was like?
Yeah.
You could start with the casting, because we spent a month and a half looking for a kid, and we actually went to juvenile halls throughout the Bay Area and other child welfare agencies, and just I went to Compton. I went all over to try and find a kid who might come from a really rough background, but we needed an incredibly strong actor who could listen well, and who could, Greg stood out by a lot. In fact, our casting director, Deborah Zion, is really good with children actors. She's like the best. She was referred by perhaps one of the best casting directors
She's great.
in New York, and she's found many great kids like Zero and Budapest Hotel and all the rest. And she told me the moment that we met Greg, and when he left the room, I don't know if I ever told you this, but
you never told me.
She said that that's going to be the kid you cast. And I didn't know it at the time. I'm like, yeah, whatever, let's keep on seeing it. She just knew.
Well, what was the audition like?
The audition process, I remember, there was probably each audition I went to, there was another kid ahead of me, in front of me, and he was in the room for a good hour. Each kid was going in for a good 30 minutes, and I'm like, what's going on in here? Why is it taking so long? And I remember going in, and Santi kept asking me to do it a bit differently, and he started talking about it, and we went really deep into it, and we went back and forth. I think I had about 8, 9 auditions. I got called back 9 times.
Really?
I went over to his house a couple times to meet his parents, to make sure his parents were going to be okay with it, because it's a heavy role.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an easy role.
Yeah.
And it required some late nights too.
Well, how old were you when you did it?
I was 13 at the time.
So it's 3 years ago when you were shooting.
So he was pre-puberty, and it was meant to be that way because I really wanted to tell a story about child abuse. And it's the children that are getting abused, and then later on as adults, they become abusive. Which is an experience I had in my early 20s. I was, mental, emotionally, and I wasn't physically abusive, but I had a lot of that energy still, and healing from that is a process of trusting in your pain so you can let it out. And I wanted to share it authentically by being a kid, because when I was...
So why Greg? What was it about Greg? And then also with Greg, how did you connect with who you had to play?
First of all, Greg is a cute kid.
Thank
He's
you.
a handsome guy now, but he was very cute. And when I was a child, I got away with a lot because of my looks. So I wanted that to be.
Do you get away with a lot, Greg?
I never try to take advantage, so I've never tried it out.
Okay.
But I don't know, maybe I'm oblivious to it. Maybe I've gotten some things because I'm cute and I haven't noticed it because I don't know if I'm cute or not.
Well, I had friends that didn't have that privilege. And, when I was a kid, one of my best friends is a guy named Toby Eagle. And 7 years ago, same year that Tim died, Toby got shot and killed. And he was black. And, he didn't have the same privilege to walk into circles. I later on got to go to Wall Street and, got to go to Stanford and had a lot of great opportunities and am super privileged and blessed. But not everybody had, my looks to be able to go into a new circle after healing some. And I wanted to make sure that that is portrayed somewhat. But more than anything, Greg came in with some swagger. And he had humanity. He had the humility I don't know about, but he had humanity. Neither did I when I was a kid, but he had a lot of heart. Mm-hmm. And that's the most important part of this character. Mills has heart, despite him acting out and doing a lot of unhealthy behavior and doing graffiti. At the end of the day, he's trying to be loving. He can't because he can't trust, but he's trying.
Mm-hmm.
When did you know you wanted to be an actor? Like, how old were you?
It's actually pretty. I don't remember because I was 5. My mom told me. I just went up to her one day randomly and I told her that I wanted to be an actor. I guess I was watching TV and I saw something and I was like, I told her. But yeah, now that I'm older, and I realized this like many years ago. I always loved acting. It was really fun. But now that I realize what it is and why I enjoy it, it's because for me, I think to be able to tell stories like this film. I mean, I'm not just saying it because I'm in the movie, but after I saw the film, like it kind of blew me away of what a powerful impact it was and like what a beautiful structure the writing was in. But for me, I think it's the power to feel emotions and to make others feel stuff. I love dissecting characters and characters that are fully rich, 3D. They're almost like they're real life. And what really helped me get into the role and prepare for it was Santiago and the cast and crew and my dad. Because my dad kind of had the same situation as Santiago. He was abused as a child. But they gave me a lot of insight.
And his dad and I had conflict at times, probably because we come from some of the same background, and there's that tension at times. And Greg, when you see the movie, if you go to see the movie,
you should go see it.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Greg is nothing like this. Mill's character is not this sweet guy. He's pretty hard. So it just is really showing how good of an actor Greg is be able to play that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, an actor should be able to play any role that there is. You just have to find something about yourself that would cause you to do what the character does and what makes him feel that way.
Is there anything, just one more question on acting. As a kid actor, is there anything, any advice that you would give to other people who are doing it or people working with kid actors specifically?
I think some advice that, I don't want to sound too cliche, but, never give up, as cliche as it sounds, because you never know. What if, I don't know, like, if you quit one day, what if the next day you might have an audition for, like, something that could change your career, It's like a loop. You never know what could happen, and you got to kind of trust in some hope. You got to have some hope.
Trust your struggle.
Yeah, trust your struggle. And you kind of gotta trust it that someday it'll happen. You just gotta keep going, and you never know when, but it will happen.
And what about like rejection and just dealing with that, because that's a huge thing?
Well, before going into auditions, I always tell myself, you know what, I could just embarrass myself right now in front of everybody.
I'm gonna stop you, Greg, because you're just talented. So it just comes out, and
yeah, but I still get nervous at times.
Of course, but you are very talented.
Thank you.
So that's just, he's got that gift. There's some sort of gift that some people have. I can tell I was in a casting room with many kids, and Greg had some. It's probably because of his brother. He had an older brother, probably, that gave him a little bit of swagger. And, probably hung out with some older kids a lot as a kid, and maybe he got some swagger from some older kids.
I was always around older kids, but I remember in the audition, I was actually very nervous.
You didn't seem that way. You acted well.
I know. I covered it. I had a mask over, but I remember in the audition room, I was kind of shivering because that's how nervous I was. But it was the AC was really cold too. So I blamed it on the AC.
Right.
He's like, you
That's
nervous? I'm like, nah, it's just the AC. I'm like, I'm never
But
nervous.
I gotta say, the hardest thing about making this movie was the fact that it was rejected everywhere because it's a child actor in such a heavy role. Everyone. I went to so many producers to try and get help.
Pre-production, not after the film.
Pre-production. So many producers said no because A, they didn't think I could make the movie for less than $1 million with a child actor and the studio teachers who only had 8 hours a day, right? And they did not think a kid, hate to say this, a little white boy on top of which, Greg's, Armenian, but they did not think that they could pull this role off. And of course, it's an unknown kid carrying the entire film. So it was rejected everywhere. Everywhere. Even small producers rejected the film. So I was forced to produce and direct it on my own. And what I can say, and this is maybe coming from a little bit of ego, but it's also the truth, what I'm about to say. It's not easy making a movie with a child actor that carries your whole film. It was easier with Greg because he was able to listen so well, and he's like one of the only kids who's studying Meisner and Stanislavski, and he's a real actor doing work and working on his craft. How many kids at 13 years old were doing that? Not many, but on top of which, he was willing to take direction and listen. I don't know how you did on your next movie afterwards. I don't know if your director got the same performance, but I think the real, you want to play apples to apples with the movie. You give someone talented A-list actors or people who are adult actors who've been doing this for a long time, great, but try seeing his first 2 takes, like him on his own, because he's just a kid. He doesn't know the psychology behind some of the beats behind what's going on. It's not just like direct. There's other things going on beneath it. But he listened so well. Once he got the notes, he was able to adapt. And the beautiful thing about working with a kid actor who knows what he's doing or is working on it is they listen and can adjust and don't have the ego blocking them. They listen. So, it was very difficult and very, very, very challenging, especially with the police all around us with hours and stuff.
But I think the product of the film, it's like kind of, those, they tell you won't make it, and then once you make it, you rub it into their faces. I think if you show them the film, those same producers, they're going to be like, what did we just miss out on? And I guarantee that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure other kids.
I'd like to kill him with love.
Yeah.
And I like to, what we did was a very difficult thing, and the odds are that we couldn't make a movie the way we just did. And so they were making the right statistical bet, I think. But I think the movie's about love. It's about love being the most powerful status and really showing that.
You always say that. So I have a kind of a more personal question. Having gone what you've gone through, you must have had an incredible amount of anger.
Yes.
So how did that change?
I let it out. I scream, I yell, I cry, I let it out. I keep on letting it out. And I think I can understand many prisoners. They're stuck in that anger. They can't let it out. And society doesn't allow men to cry. It's something that is like frowned upon or called weak. No, men need to cry. In fact, prisoners need to be allowed to cry. They need to let it out because it's stuck inside of them. There's so much misunderstanding. They were abused. They later on abused. Then they're judged for that. Then they have to hide it. Then they can't show it. But the fact is, when they were kids and innocent and didn't have, it was unfair that happened to them in the first place. So that energy is still carried inside of them. So how could you get upset with them for still letting it out? And then when you judge them and look at the person on the street as like some crazy person without giving them the empathy and compassion, no wonder they're going to hide it from you as best as they can and not share it. So we need to encourage awareness. I'm doing the best I can to do that. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm trying. And, I keep letting it out. I still am, trust me, we had a situation just 2 days ago where we had see if I should say this on camera. Okay, we had a press situation where we were supposed to be inside of one of the sponsors' car of Sundance, and we were canceled because of the fear that that brand would have gotten yelled at or maybe poo-pooed upon again by Sundance. So we had our interview canceled because we were a Slamdance film and they didn't want to support us. Now, if you think about this, How is that supporting the arts?
It's not.
That's supporting the corporation. That's supporting the brand. That's supporting money. Art needs to be independent from that. And here you hear my anger coming out again. I do still get upset because I know that my intention is with love. It's to share the, spirit of an incredibly noble, humble man who has a ton of integrity, which was my teacher. And it's also to support the kids that are in struggle and all adults and anyone in struggle, really, because the message is about trusting your struggle. And if we want to heal humanity and really heal society, we have to be honest about the pain. I think Oprah said in the Golden Globes, she said something to the extent of the most powerful thing we can do is to share our truth. She said something like that. Sharing our truth is the most powerful tool we have. Mm-hmm. Well, how is that supporting the arts when you deny a film that is all about that purely from a money standpoint? So I am a firm believer that the truth always rises, and I need to continue to trust. So the anger is released when you let go of the resentment and you let go of the fear. I'm starting to trust again.
Yeah, it's interesting. You've had really bad things happen in your life. You have a choice. You can either go from a point of anger and hate or happiness and love, and you do make a transition. God forbid anything like that happens to Greg. But
I'm also incredibly privileged and very lucky. I've had a lot of love in my life from a lot of different families that have taught me through my situation. So I also feel an immense amount of abundance these days, and I feel a real responsibility to share that love with other people and help other people that are still stuck in the shadows and judgmental to see that they're being judgmental with love. And you're not going to teach with anger, and you're not going to teach with pain. You have to teach from a place of love.
Yeah, and Greg, you're like winning Best Actor awards because this thing's been in lots of film festivals. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, where did you win? You won a couple already.
I won one at Oldenburg where we had a world premiere, which unfortunately I didn't get to make it, but I did get the award.
Oldenburg, Germany.
Yeah, Oldenburg, Germany. And then I won one at Napa Valley, which is pretty cool. I mean, when Santi texted me and Dash texted me that happening, I didn't get to go to Napa either. I was just like, wait, what just happened? But Quest, the film ultimately won. Like, I think almost every film festival we've been to, it's won the audience award, and we've scored the same as Mudbound. We've won
at the Mill Valley Film Festival. We won the audience award within the category of not having distribution yet, and Mudbound won the audience award. Lady Bird won behind that, and then also Molly's Game, which is Aaron Sorkin's film. And what I was told by the festival is our movie, we were the only movie at Mill Valley that had standing ovations. We sold out of all three. They gave us 2 screenings, and they added another one. We sold out of that one too. Granted, it's a Bay Area film, so let's keep that let's keep that in mind. But we scored as high as all 3 of those winning films at Mill Valley, and we swept the awards at Napa Valley. Won the audience award, the jury prize, and Greg won Best Actor. And every time Greg has been in a category for Best Actor at these festivals, he won Best Actor. I mean, Austin may have, and I have to go check. They may have had a category for Best Actor, but Oldenburg is the first time in 24 years that they gave that award to a child.
Yeah, and you're in high school, so do you know what you're going to do in college yet?
I just took an exit exam. Well, I have my GED now, but I took an exit exam to finish high school early so I could pursue acting. I'm just going to keep going for acting for right now, and see how things go for now. But if not, I don't know. Knock on wood. Yeah. It's probably gonna have to be directing. That's cool. Because I want to be in the film industry, but I'm just gonna
teach at USC, by the way. So
really? That's so cool. Yeah. No, I'm gonna keep going as an actor.
Just keep on focusing on acting and having humility.
Yeah, I don't want to focus on being anything else because I can't imagine. Even if I'm like 50 and starving, I will still be going actor.
But I do think the industry hasn't seen his performance yet.
No.
Audiences have. But the industry hasn't, and hopefully in Park City, the industry is going to learn about Greg.
Kasyan. And what's the just a couple more questions. What's the significance of the title, Quest?
I have an answer to that. I'm going to pull up a direct quote. Ask Greg another question.
Right. Okay. I thought you were going to ask another question. I'm so sorry.
Ask Greg a
That's
question.
right.
I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a quote because Tim called the movie Quest.
Okay.
And when we wrote the original draft, he wanted to call it Quest, and I'm going to tell you why I think Tim called the movie Quest. But I want to pull up the quote.
Oh, okay. All right. As you're doing that, because that could take a while. So, okay. So you are interested in writing and directing as well. Have you actually started anything?
I've been thinking about starting my own production company, but I think that'll be until I'm like older and successful actor, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I've just been studying films and I've been looking at a lot of interviews with directors. You know, some of my favorite directors like Martin Scorsese or Quentin Tarantino. You know, some of my favorite directors.
Quentin Tarantino's so violent.
Yeah, but his movies are brilliant.
His movies are brilliant, but he's always got to make violent movies.
Yeah, but just like it's still art. You know, there's still meaning to it.
He's
Do you go to the New Beverly at all?
Always
That's his theater. Do you go to the New Beverly?
No, I haven't been there.
Yeah, he owns a theater.
Yeah.
They do. They bring back old movies all the time. It's
Really?
great. I'm there all the time.
I was listening to an interview with Quentin Tarantino, and he said something. One of the reporters asked the same thing. Why are they always so violent? And he got super defensive and pissed off at the reporter. It's Michael. Don't ask that question. Blah blah. I would challenge Quentin Tarantino to make a movie about love. I would challenge him. I don't know if he can.
He's making a new one now, which is a little
It's with
different.
Leonardo DiCaprio, I think.
Yeah, but it's different than what he has normally done.
I love that. I wonder if he could challenge himself to go.
Oh, that's
into
right. And he's
Shadows of
also doing a
Violet.
Star Trek now.
Oh, all right, good. I love.
He's
Quentin.
gonna do a Star Trek.
I love
Quentin
Quentin
Tarantino.
Tarantino's a beast.
R-rated.
Yeah, I love.
He's a
Quentin.
beast. But I wonder if he could do something less
Of course
violent.
he can. Of course he can. He's amazing.
Let's go tell him to do that.
It might get there. We'll see.
All right, here's what is it we are questing for? Okay, he says this is a quote from Joseph Campbell. What is it we are questing for? It is the fulfillment of that which is potential in each of us. Questing for it is not an ego trip. It is an adventure to bring into fulfillment your gift to the world, which is yourself. There is nothing you can do that's more important than being fulfilled. You become a sign. You become a signal, transparent to the transcendence. In this way you will find, live, become a realization of your own personal myth. Tim told me when he was still alive, if I ever get lost, to make Quest. Maybe he had a lot of vision that I couldn't even see at the time, and there's a reason.
Is that why you left? Because it's to me, it's amazing that you went from the streets, to Tim. Then you went to Stanford of all places. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you went to Wall Street and you made $1 million, which then you spent a lot of it making this movie. Where in there did you say Wall Street's not the place? And when did you decide to make the movie?
So I got into a program when I was in high school called Quest Scholars, which is a nonprofit organization that helps underserved and low-income youth get into Stanford. And the founder of that program is an amazing man named Michael McCullough. Incredible integrity with his wife. They both started this nonprofit. He's an emergency room physician, Rhodes Scholar. He's actually on the board of the Dalai Lama Foundation now, and started a nonprofit with the Dalai Lama. And he always, he always told me not to pursue Hollywood and to gain some financial momentum first, because I didn't have a cushion to fall back on. And that's why I went to Wall Street. At some point, my soul was needed the release, and I was in too much pain, so I had to take a break to give back and to let out some of the pain that I was hiding with the warm kind of blankets of making money. And I didn't want to be poor. I grew up poor. I wasn't proud of being poor.
When you're poor, you don't want to stay poor.
You don't want to stay poor. And now I can see that being rich isn't the answer. I know a lot of people that are very unhappy, that have the same struggle, that have a lot of money. It's about giving back, and it's about service.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming here. I really encourage everyone to find this movie when it is available. It will be out this year. And watch this movie. It's phenomenal. I mean, truly phenomenal. You guys are really an inspiration.
Thank you for having us.
And there were a
Thank you so
lot
much.
of people who came together from a place of love to make this happen. It was not just Greg. It wasn't just me. It was an amazing cinematographer who did this for the art, who makes a lot of money making commercials, and he did it for the art. It was Dash. It was all of the actors who came. It was a great crew. So we had a lot of talent doing this from a place of love and art. And our production designer is an amazing graffiti artist. We had a lot of great people. And Trust Your Struggle, which is a collective that supported us. We have Help for Children, which is the largest foundation in the world, supporting child abuse prevention and treatment, who has supported this and should hopefully host a gala screening soon. So it's a lot of people that made this movie.
Yeah, it's a really special movie, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you very
so
much.
much. Thank you for
All right,
having us.
thanks for watching.